is to keep the body still and relaxed. Relaxation is the seat on which meditation happens. So this also is a practice sadhana to ask oneself how much I am relaxed at the body level, mind level. The more I am relaxed at the body and mind level, the more meditation will become deeper. Step number 2, resolution. I withdraw my mind from all past, future relationships. One of the mantra we can chant in resolution is Asangoham, 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 Punah Punah. At this point, I am only a sadhak in search of truth, my own self or God. That is the only role which I take for next 10 minutes and further for 45 minutes when I am studying Upanishad. This is very important because we constantly keep playing different roles. Step number 3, Avahanam, let us invoke God's grace and Guru Parampara's blessings by bringing form, guna, qualities of the Devata, Ishta Devata, whatever we have in mind, or Guru, or if we do not have both, then Om, and imagining that God and Guru are blessing us, and blue golden light flowing through them is healing my complete body, and their blessings are with me always. So let us relax our head, shoulders, face, back, chest, stomach. Entire body is filled with blue golden light. Buttocks, groin, thighs, knees, calf muscles, shin, ankles, feet, head to toe. My body is relaxed and healed and blessed by the Guru and Ishtadevata. Let us focus on our breath. Next step, just observe the inhalation, exhalation. To start this process, we can take a deep, slow, conscious breath. When we do that, our attention comes on our breath because whatever we do consciously, the attention goes there. This is the technique of mindful meditation. We can also do kumbhak, stop the breath so that entire attention goes there because the body comes under survival mode and the entire attention comes on the breath. Next step, given in Amritabindu Upanishad, we use the meditation technique of sound and silence. So I will chant 12 times Om. You can also chant loudly. The idea is to focus the entire attention on the sound. And then 3 times Om, where the attention shifts from sound to silence. Also, if we can remember the silence behind the sound. All sounds subside in the silence and again come back from the silence. So at the background, there is silence itself. The more and more we become aware of this silence behind the sound, behind all activities, behind all names and forms, the more I practice meditation in day-to-day transactions. The original nature of the mind is peace. Thoughts come and go, thoughts come and go. These are the ripples in the lake. Om. 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 Now we shift the attention from the sound to silence between the two ohms, where God, Brahman, Atma is found. The more the mind focuses on silence, the mind will dissolve, Manonasha, and Spuratirut Swayam, Parama Purna Sat. Another self will emerge, which is real self, which is my own self, whose nature we have been studying in the last verse, what we did in the last session. So all this knowledge of Upanishad, Gita, whatever we study must be remembered when this state comes. That is the purpose of this knowledge. Om. 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 So when we remember the attributes of Brahman, self, a Brahmakar Vritti is formed, and that Brahmakar Vritti dissolves or destroys the Dehakar Vritti. That is a final state. And as Nisargadatta Maharaj says, I realize that I am not an individual, I am not a person. And my real nature is Sat Chit Ananda. And as we have been studying in the last verse, in the last session we saw Nirvikalpam Anantam Aprameyam Hetu Drishtanta Varjitam Anadim without beginning, devoid of division, endless, beyond logic and comparison. These are the attributes we studied, and if I have contemplated well, if these I always contemplate after the class is over. This is where the person focuses on in day-to-day life, in all transactions at the back of the mind. I always remember Satchitananda, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, beginningless, endless, infinite bliss, without part, without comparison, beyond logic, Antaprajnam, na Bahishprajnam, na Prajnam, na Prajnam, Agrahyam, Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Sa Atma. So all these thoughts, if I am contemplating upon constantly during the day, that is how a sadhak prepares for meditation. If these words are not coming in my mind during the day and I am not remembering the meaning of it, then in the last stage, different thoughts will come. So that is what Tapan Maharaj told Swami Chinmayananda to go and for 1 year think about Brahman and it attributes continuously in all activities and see whether I get involved into the activity or I remember this while doing the activity. So while doing all activities, cooking, reading, talking, transacting, at the back of the mind, this goes on for a spiritual sadhak. That is the purpose why we study Upanishad. So let us invoke God's grace and Guru Parampara's blessings by chanting Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः चिन्मयं व्यापि यत् सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्.
Hari Om. Thank you, Vidya. So, last time we discussed some topic where Pratima had asked one question that thinker. So, suppose we analyze the mind, mind is a flow of thoughts, and flow of thoughts is divided into two parts, idam and aham. Idam is this, when we see some chair, then we see this chair, and but the meaning of that is that I know that this is chair. That I know part becomes subtle part to understand. We don't recognize it. So there is a I thought, and there are all other thoughts. As Ramani Maharshi says, that mind is only I thought because that is a constant thought. All other thoughts keep changing. That I thought is the thinker. So we had learned in Upadesar also that I thought itself is like Madhimama, which is mithya, which is neither belonging to Atma, neither belonging to body. And it takes some attributes from Atma, that is the aham part, I-ness, and it takes the form and name from the body, and it assumes an entity on which the entire bungalow we are thinking that I got hurt, I am happy, I got married, and then I am happy, and then I did this, and then so all stories about that I only, and that I is illusory. So good that you asked this question, because the next verse we are going to, even Amritabindu Upanishad is going to give the answer, where Amritabindu Upanishad is going to say in the today's verse that, like all of us who are here, the people say that no, right now my goal is uh, to get liberated. I want liberation from suffering. I want liberation from sorrow. I want liberation from Janma Mrityu cycle. But who wants the liberation? No, I want, but who is this I? That thinker is the I, that I itself is illusory. So illusory I is assuming illusory bandha, and the moksha also will be illusory. Correct or no? So that I thought is the thinker. So here Amritabindu Upanishad is taking away the basic card itself, that what are you creating all this bangla on the entire cards bungalow. I am just taking out one card out of that, the entire bungalow will collapse, because the I itself is illusory. So from today, I must not be so much talking about I story, my life. What is this I? My life, I was born, then I went to village, and this is all at Upanishadic level, a joke. The more I tell the I story, the more I am giving reality to it. And here, what has been mentioned in the 10th verse, which is a very, 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 very important verse of the Amritabindu Upanishad, because this 10th verse appears in many Upanishads, including Mandukya Upanishad. Why we are saying Mandukya Upanishad? Because I said something from Mandukya Upanishad also. The 7th verse, because of Mandukya Upanishad, I mentioned some part where Atma is described. And they say that one Upanishad is enough for us to realize that is Mandukya Upanishad. If I don't understand Mandukya Upanishad, then you read all other Upanishad. If you don't understand other Upanishad, then you read Gita, then you read Prakaran Grantha, then you come down. So this verse also appears in Mandukya Upanishad. So it says, which we are discussing right now, is that there is na nirodho, na chotpatti, na baddho, na cha sadhaka. So there is no baddha, there is no sadhak, there is no liberated person. This is what is the meaning which we will analyze today. So I would request Vidya to read 1 to 9 and 10th twice. But before that, in 1 minute, what is the summary till now, whatever we have done? So we must be able to summarize quickly that I am suffering, I am having all the limitations and sorrow because the mind is having ignorance. What is that ignorance? I am body, mind, intellect, world is real. How to, so I know it, but I'm not experiencing because the mind is not purified. How to purify? With the four yogas. Once the mind is purified and getting concentrated by some upasana like japa, then I must meditate. How to meditate? You chant Om for long time, 1 hour, 15 hours, 12 hours, and then mind will focus on the Om. And slowly, slowly, the purified, concentrated mind, when it focuses on silence, it dissolves. And there is peace is experienced. Now, what is the nature of that particular? So, what will happen when the mind dissolves? The mind will realize, the I will realize another self will come, and the nature of that self will be, as we saw in the ninth verse, Nirvikalpam, Anantam, Hetu Drishtanta Varjitam, devoid of division, endless, beyond logic and comparison, immeasurable, without beginning, without end. This is what we learned in the ninth verse, last session. So that is the reason that all these Upanishadic mantras will give us the attributes. So that is my main goal, that I must understand and focus on those words and keep always telling, as Guruji says, that all these words are describing me, and I must be able to feel it. Ki I am endless. Oh, I am beginningless. I am divisionless. I am partless. I cannot be killed. I cannot be born. So all these things are described about me. And then the 10th verse comes and says that all this also thing is false. All this meditation process and all these things what they are telling is also false, because there is nobody who was bound whom you are trying to liberate. So as Guruji says that initially we are told that there is a ocean, Mahasagar, and then we have to cross over, and then in that crossing over of water body there will be crocodiles and this, and after we cross over with all japa, puja, sadhana, mantra, meditation, contemplation, this, that, purification, Shata Sampatti, Mukshatvam, Vivek, and then reading all scriptures and going for Kumbh Mela and then purification, all destroying Papa. When we reach the other side and we look back, and when we look back, we see there was no water body only, which I had crossed. There was no I only, because I realized that na bandhana moksha, aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupa, vibhur vyapya sarvatra sarvendriyanam, sada me samatvam, na muktir na bandha. So this I have to understand the paradox. But that after understanding paradox, I must not give up all this sadhana. Sadhana must be strengthened. Otherwise, some people say, oh, what is the use? I'm not bonded only. And what is the use of liberation? So I give up all practices. No. The truth is paradoxical. So with that, we will chant the first 9 verses, and the today's verse is the 10th verse. Yeah, Vidya.
मनो हि द्विविधं प्रोक्तं शुद्धं चाशुद्धमेव च अशुद्धं कामसङ्कल्पं शुद्धं कामविवर्जितं मन एव मनुष्याणां कारणं बन्धमोक्षयोः बन्धाय विषयासक्तं मुक्तं निर्विषयं स्मृतं यतो निर्विषयस्यास्य मनसो मुक्तिरिष्यते अतो निर्विषयं नित्यं मनः कार्यं मुमुक्षुणा निरस्तविषयासङ्गं सन्निरुद्धं मनो हृदि यदा यात्यात्मनो भावं तदा तत्परमं पदं तावदेव निरोद्धव्यं यावत् हृदि गतं क्षयम् एतत् ज्ञानं च ध्यानं च शेषो न्यायश्च विस्तरः नैव चिन्त्यं न चाचिन्त्यं न चिन्त्यं चिन्त्यमेव तत् पक्षपातविनिर्मुक्तं ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते तदा स्वरेण सन्धयेत् योगम् अस्वरं भावयेत् परम् अस्वरेणानुभावेन भावो वा भावयिष्यते तदेव निष्कलं ब्रह्म निर्विकल्पं निरञ्जनं तत्ब्रह्माहमिति ज्ञात्वा ब्रह्म सम्पद्यते ध्रुवम् निर्विकल्पमनन्तं च हेतुदृष्टान्तवर्जितम् अप्रमेयमनादिं च यज्ञात्वा मुच्यते बुधः.
This is the last verse what we saw in the last session. Now, the 10th verse we'll chant twice.
न निरोधो न चोत्पत्तिः न बद्धो न च साधकः न मुमुक्षुर्न वै मुक्तः इत्येषा परमार्थता. न निरोधो न चोत्पत्तिः न बद्धो न च साधकः न मुमुक्षुर्न वै मुक्तः इत्येषा परमार्थता.
Very nice. So, na nirodho, na chotpattir, na baddho, na cha sadhaka, na mumukshu, na mukti, ittesha paramarthata. This I must understand. So, that, what is that supreme state? Right now, I'm trying to understand intellectually that in that state there is no dissolution or creation. No spiritual practitioner, none a seeker of liberation, nor indeed a liberated one. So this is not very easy to digest because it comes in many Upanishads, in Mandukya Upanishad also, that to accept that creation never happened from Brahman point of view. If we go to sun, suppose we land on sun and ask the sun that what is darkness, the sun will say, what is darkness? I do not know. There is no darkness only. In the same way, suppose we ask Brahman that what is ignorance, what is Maya, what is creation, Brahman will say, I don't know. There is nothing other than me. This is from the Jiva point of view, but from the Brahman point of view, there is no seeker, there is no liberation, there is no ignorance, there is no Maya, there is no creation, there is no dissolution, there is no sustenance, there is no avatar, nothing. So, the standpoint and the context is very important to understand, and that's the reason Advait is a philosophy which is so beautiful that we understand all perspectives. So, we must understand from what perspective this mantra is being mentioned. So, from the highest perspective, there is no creation, no dissolution. There is no sadhak, there is no person who is bonded, there is no individual. As there is no creation only, there is no dissolution also. But here, using this particular mantra, we can see a journey of a seeker, autobiography of a seeker. Who is a seeker? I am the seeker, not somebody else. So, what is a seeker's journey? Various states are mentioned in this life history of every seeker. Now, this is very interesting to understand because everybody thinks, no, but I am different. My path is very different. I am very different, as if my enlightenment will be different, my moksha will be different, my nirvana will be different. No, it is all same. Autobiography of a ego. Let us see what is an autobiography or ego. State number 1, Baddha. To know that I am bound, limited, incomplete, deluded, sorrowful is the greatest intelligence. That is how we started Amritabindu Upanishad. Those people think, no, but I am different, I am very intelligent, I am very happy. But here in this life, connection with this situation, object, people, I cannot have that fulfillment. But to realize this, as Guruji says that if a person goes into the jail and thinks that I am very happy in the jail only, then there is a problem. To know that I am limited, bound, incomplete, deluded, sorrowful, and this situation, object, people are not going to give me that complete fulfillment is intelligence, and that person is called as Baddha. Second, then from Baddha I become Sadhak. So I realize that I want to come out of this. Then I start practicing Vivek, Vairagya, Shada Sampatti. I start studying. I start discriminating Atma, Anatma, Nitya, Anitya, Vivek, good, bad, right, wrong, permanent happiness, impermanent happiness. And then I start developing the qualities for mind purification, Shada Sampatti. And slowly, very clearly, I'm convinced that this is not going to give me happiness. It is Vairagya is not created forcefully. Suppose I give you potassium cyanide. Only 1 spoon I am giving. No, I don't want potassium cyanide because I know what is potassium cyanide, number 1. I know what is the effect of potassium cyanide, number 2. I don't want to take risks. So it is not that I have created vairagya towards potassium cyanide. So once I get the knowledge, I don't even have to, I'm not interested to even look at potassium cyanide. I don't want to even touch potassium cyanide because I know all the things about potassium cyanide. So in the same way, this Vivek thinking, Satsanga will give that Vairagya, and this Shata Sampatti I am creating during the process in this life itself. I am using family, job, business to create Shata Sampatti. That is my purpose of doing a job, getting married and doing business, to create Shata Sampatti. Very important point to underline. When somebody asks us, why have you got married? Why are you doing job? Why are you doing business? To create Shata Sampatti. Because I cannot go to Himalayas and create Shata Sampatti. Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Uparati, Saddha, Samadhan, it has to be created here only. Here only when we are put in difficult situation, I will understand what is my Titiksha, what is my Kshama, what is my Dhamma. Otherwise, in sitting in Himalayas, how will I know? So Bhagavan has given all these situations to us. He has put us rightly in correct situation, correct families, correct relatives to create Chata Sampatti. So our purpose of life is very clear of job, marriage, business to create Chata Sampatti. This is the sadhak's goal. Otherwise, I will get attached. I will get disappointed. I forget why I got married, why I'm doing job, why I was born only. Why did I get born? Suppose I wouldn't have been born only my favorite logic. What would happen? Nothing. Suppose I disappear from this planet, what will happen? Maximum, what will happen? Nothing. So between two nothingness, what is happening? Nothing is happening. Why am I so worried about it? Why am I creating so much drama, emotional drama, and telling 100 stories about my life? What is so great? Nobody is going to remember my story after even one day, maybe 10 days, maybe 1 month, 100 years after. After 100 years, will anybody remember us? No. Mumukshatva, firm determination to liberate. That is the third state. A Baddha becomes sadhak, a sadhak becomes mumukshu. Vivek Vairagya Shatasampatti will quieten the mind, and the person will be only interested in Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasanam of the path, means and the goal. That's the reason that is called as Vividisha Sannyasa. Vividisha Sannyas means all these Swamijis whom we see. They have taken Vividisha Sannyas. They are mumukshutu. They have not got married. They are not doing any job. They are not doing any business. They are not earning any money because all the mind, all the body, all the intellect is only focused from morning to evening 24 hours in Shravan Manan Nididhyasanam. That must be the purpose. So they are more ambitious to us because they have given up something to achieve something. So Baddha becomes sadhak, a sadhak becomes mumukshu, a mumukshu becomes mukta, ego dissolves. So this is called as, one is karma sannyas, vividisha sannyas, and what is the third sannyas? I always forget the name of that.
Vidvat.
Vidvat.
Vidvat sannyas, what we saw in Maitri Brahmana Upanishad, where the Rishi says, now I am going to go for Vidvat sannyas. Vidvat sannyas is, I want to dissolve ego. Then his wife asks, what will you get? I will get Amrutatva. I also want that. That's the reason I am giving up something to get that Amrutatva. So Baddha, Sadhak, Mumukshu, Mukta. This is a process. These are the ego autobiography. Na Nirodha, Mukta does not die. How come Mukta does not die? But I can see, all these Mahatmas, Naneshwar Maharaj, Tukaram Maharaj, Tapovan Maharaj, they died. No, their body died. But then before that, Tukaram Maharaj has said, Apule maran paile mya dola. After long time of reading, I understood what Tukaram Maharaj were talking about it. This Abhanga I knew since long. Apule maran paile mya dola, Tukaram Maharaj says. I saw my death. After reading Upadeshar and Saddarshan, I realized Tukaram Maharaj was talking of dying of the ego. But what beautiful way is saying, I saw my death. The ego died. But I am still there. Ramana Maharshi says, I saw my body lying there. But I was there. Very clearly I saw that my body, I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the intellect. So Mukta does not die. Because the mukta has shifted from I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, but I am the self whose nature is Satchitananda, which has no beginning, no end, no death, no birth, no utpatti. Mukta does not take birth. Ego goes from one body to another. The self does not take birth and does not die. So again, we have repeated it twice. But again, many people have this kind of notion that Atma goes from one body to another. No, no, no. Atma does not go from one body to another because Atma is infinite. Infinite cannot move. What goes from one body to another body is the ego, the illusory self, the I notion, which is false. Nothing happens to Atma. Nainam chindanti shastrani. It cannot be burned by the fire. It cannot be wetted by the water. Air cannot do. It is infinite in nature. Where will infinite move? And there cannot be two infinites. So all of us are having the same Atma. My Atma and your Atma cannot be different. The moment I accept omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent as the nature of the Lord and self, then I have to think over it because it is a very powerful way to think. Finitude and infinitude, I must keep contemplating that if Bhagavan is saying that my nature is infinite, where will I move? So no moment, ego goes from one body to another body. Conclusion, for a liberated one who has attained the supreme state, there is no individuality. So the Nisargadatta Maharaj says that I realized I am not individual. Another saint said that I was not aware. I really didn't understand where I was starting and where I was ending. No bondage, no seeker, no practice, no liberation, no river beds of body, mind, intellect, and world is real. As I realized, at the salt doll has realized that I am the ocean. Finite dissolves in the infinite to become infinite. Because when finite approaches the infinite, it has to become infinite. This is very important because if we talk to ISKCON people or if we talk to Dvaita Vadi, they will say, no, there is a difference between Jiva and Ishvara. It cannot be same. But here we are saying that when a salt doll, which is Jiva, which goes in search of the ocean, which is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, Bhagwan, God, then it has to dissolve. Sayujya Samadhi. And that dissolution is beautiful because I want that dissolution because only when the limited dissolves, the infinite emergence or infinite is already there. Only I realize, I only recognize, nothing happens. This is very important that this goal is very clearly understood because people are thinking of having some exotic experience. It is an exotic experience, but it is not an experience like what we have in our day-to-day life of experiencer, experiencing, experienced, because that will be Dvaita. No bondage, no liberation. So we all know that story of Upanishad Ganga. Again, worth repeating. The one person came into the forest, was not able to go back, found a Rishi's ashram. He had two donkeys. He asked the Rishi, monk there, can I stay in your house? Yes, you can stay. I will cook for you. We will have nice food and sleep. And then he realized that doesn't have that pole where he used to tie donkey at home. So then he asked the Rishi what to do. Well, nothing. I'll tell you one trick. What you do, only do the action of tying the rope and the pole. So you hit the pole down and then rotate your hand around their neck and then do it. And then he did it and the donkey sat as if they were tied. And he was so happy that, like this Rishi is having some magic. Next day morning, he's ate dinner, slept, did some chanting, got up, took bath, and while going, again the donkey is not getting up. He again went to Rishi, my donkeys are not coming with me. He told, what you did yesterday, do the reverse. You do only the action of taking out the pole and taking out the rope. And he did that and the donkey got up. Same thing. I have to tell that I am that donkey. Not that I am that Rishi or I am that person. I am that donkey. Because I think, no, there will be some sadhana, some practice, and some rope. And that rope is basically what? Japa, puja, meditation, contemplation, Shadasampatti, Vivek, Vairagya, this, that. That rope is that, because there is no thing which is bonding me. Another story, one person went to his guru who was staying, his Shishya was staying with him for 10, 15 years. I have been here for less 10, 15 years, still I am not realized what is holding me. The Guru didn't say anything. They both went to take bath. While coming back, the Guru ran and held a tree and started shouting, leave me, leave me, leave me, leave me, make me free, give me liberation. The Shishya told, no, you are only holding the tree. Why are you telling the tree to leave me? Similarly, I am only holding the world. World is not holding me. No, 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 but world is having so much of power. But I am only holding the world. I am only holding the situation. I am only holding the objects. I am only holding the people in my mind. It is not body level we are holding. It is at the mind level the attachment is there. And I can free it from my mind itself. So no bondage and no liberation. What is Savikalpa Samadhi? Pure ego experiences the Brahman. So when the mind becomes Chitta Ekagra, Chitta Shuddha, then before it dissolves, that point Naneshwar Maharaj has said, I don't want to dissolve. That is what is Dvait philosophy. They say, I don't want to dissolve. Because in that state, I can experience bliss. Like there is a very beautiful Abhanga which Naneshwar Maharaj says that I want to become that, Brahmara, which comes in search of that honey. And honey doesn't know its sweetness, but the Brahmar knows. And the Brahmar is enjoying the honey which the flower is not enjoying. So Naneshwar Maharaj says that I don't want to become that honey. I want to remain as Brahmar only. This is the main philosophy of ISKCON and philosophy, Madhavacharyas. Because in that state, there is ecstatic bliss, what is being experienced, because that ego is still there. That is Savikalpa Samadhi. And Nirvikalpa Samadhi's ego dissolves into the Brahman, individuality, individuality becomes universality, personality becomes the presence. And Sahaja Samadhi, what Ramana Maharshi is mind without firm bank interacting with the world. The conviction and experiential truth is always there that I am not this body, mind, intellect, world is not real. And I am abiding in that peace and I am abiding in that knowledge that I am Brahman. No, but it is so difficult. No, it is not so difficult. It is very easy. Like suppose today I get up, I don't have to tell myself that I am Prasad, I am a man. You don't have to tell yourself that you are a woman or you are this person. It comes naturally. For them, it naturally comes as they are abiding in that and they're interacting with the world, because there is no bank of I am body, mind, intellect and the world is real. And that's the reason when Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to be there with people, there used to be Gulab Jam and Rasagullas kept. Suddenly he will say Rasgulla, Rasgulla, Rasgulla. And then Rasgulla has to be put in his mouth by his Shishas, and then he will come down to this state, as Guruji says, that for us, it is so difficult for us to go to that state. For him, it is so difficult for him to come to our state of body consciousness. That state, do avasthatraya viveka. What is avasthatraya viveka? I must remember and by heart before I study Upanishad the definition of Atma of Tattvabodh. What is the definition of Atma of Tattvabodh? Avasthatraya Sakshi Panchakosha Titah Sthula Sukshma Karanak Sharira Vetiriktam Iti Tishtate Sa Atma. So now, next verse, we are going to do Avasthatraya Viveka. 3 states of consciousness, which I am not. I am not the waking state. I am not the subtle. I am not the dream state. I am not the deep sleep state. I am the 4th state which pervades all 3 states. That is the Turiya Avastha. In that, there is one state which is a deep sleep state. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this Upanishad, when we started, one of the topic which I was attracted for long time, for many years, two topics actually. One was Sushupti Avastha, one was Avidya. These are my favorite topics. So on that, I had some discussions with Swami Advayananji when he had come home. Then he sent me some details. On that, I have made one paper. Finally, I'm satisfied with all those things because these are two mysterious things, Sushupti Avastha and Avidya, because these two are beyond intellect. That which is beyond intellect is mysterious. So we will see some details which are not part of this Upanishad, but as we are doing Avasthatraya Sakshi, we have to also inquire about what is deep sleep state, what is dream state, what is waking state, and my nature is beyond these three states. So I must not give so much of significance to waking state. Actually, spiritual sadhak gives more importance to Sushupti Avastha. That doesn't mean that I must sleep more. I must analyze because that is the closest to realization. As why I got interested in this topic, because long time back, Subodhananji, I think if you know him, he was our Acharya in Siddhavadi. Very technical, very detailed. He will give. Once he said that once you are more interested, you will be more interested in Sushupti Avastha. So that triggered my interest. Because he according to his style, he says kindergarten people are interested in waking state. What is happening in waking state? इसके लाइफ में क्या हो गया, अभिषेक बच्चन का क्या हो गया, ऐश्वर्या राय के नेबर के लाइफ में क्या, मेरे लाइफ में, वो सब किंडरगार्टन। अगर आप स्पिरिचुअल साधक हो तो आप सुषुप्ति अवस्था का अभ्यास करो, और उसके ऊपर बहुत डिटेल में है। डिफरेंट डिफरेंट स्कूल्स ऑफ थॉट्स हैव एनालाइज्ड दिस स्टेट इन डिफरेंट वेज। So somewhere next class we will see some portion of that. ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।